Hey listeners. Before we get to the episode, we want to take a moment to address the June 24th Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. This decision stripped away the legal right to have a safe and legal abortion. Restricting access to comprehensive reproductive care, including abortion, threatens the health and independence of all Americans, and others should other countries do this too. This decision could also lead to the loss of other rights. To learn more about what you can do to help, go to choice.crd.co. We encourage you to speak up, take care, and spread the word. Thank you.
Hello friends, my name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain, and we're your fuck buddies.
We are a dating and sex advice show where we take your sticky, sexy situations and turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we're a sex and dating advice show that finds questions either online through our wonderful listeners, or, in today's case, we focus on a specific theme.
This week we are sponsored once again by the excellent folks over at LoveHoney. They are, as you probably know from last week. They are the world's largest online sex toy shop for the past 20 years. Not only are they famous for offering the widest selection of lingerie and sex toys, including the revolutionary We Vibe and something we'll be talking about today.
Spoiler alert.
But also for their unparalleled customer service. In honor of this exciting partnership, we are bringing you another episode all about the wonderful world of sex toys, courtesy of our friends over at LoveHoney.
Yeah. Should we hit them with the link and the deets?
Yes.
Hell yeah. So if you go to www.lovehoney.co/fbuddies, and when you're checking out, type in fuckbuddies20, all capitals, you'll get 20% off site-wide. And let me tell you, there's a lot of cool stuff on there. I had a look, and there's stuff I didn't even know existed. And there's stuff I'm familiar with that, like, even the stuff I'm familiar with has now been, like, built upon or, like, made better. You know, like we talked about the Nova 2 last week and the fact that you can connect it to an app and, like, get some long distance loving going with your partner. And like, that's just awesome. So if you're intrigued, if you want to spice things up a little, I would definitely go check it out because, and I mean this very sincerely, they have something for everyone.
Everybody.
It's crazy.
I would be shocked if someone went on that site and was just like, nope, not a damn thing here. And maybe not something that you're ready to purchase quite yet, but I promise that there is something out there that would get you thinking. That you would definitely you would be cozying in bed and you'd be like about to go to sleep and then you'd be like, but actually, hold on. And then you wouldn't be able to stop thinking about whatever you saw.
There's also lingerie and lube, for example. I think we can all get behind some lingerie.
There's a lot of staples as well, like hygiene products, lube, condom. There's a bunch of stuff there that you can get that everyone needs if they're having sexual interactions.
It's great. So hop on, check it out, and we'll give you a little 20% off. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
This is by deleted user, but it is. I, 26-year-old female, caught my boyfriend, 23-year-old male, using my dildo. As the title suggests, I caught my boyfriend using one of my dildos to masturbate in the bathroom 4 days ago. The way I found out was because I saw my dildo in a different position than I have them. There were missing lube packets, and there was a mess with lube and stuff in the bathroom when I came back from work that day. We've used the dildo for pegging before, so it's not news for us, but I do find it odd he would use my toy in my house without really telling me. I understand we don't have to tell each other everything. This is not the first time he has done this and has filled my head with crazy ideas. The way I found out last time was because I was going mindlessly through his photos in his phone and there were videos of him using it on my bed, yet I never received these videos. There was a lot of drama that happened during this time, and eventually I confronted him. His reply was, I just wanted to see how it looked when you do it to me, and since you like using it on me, I want to get used to the feeling. But I cannot get out of my head that maybe those videos went somewhere or to someone. And I can't stop thinking that maybe he has taken videos and photos this time because he was texting me while he was in the bathroom while using it. I have a dog cam in my studio, and I matched the times we went in there when he was texting me, and it was pretty consistent back and forth. I think that woman would be busy trying to come with butt play, so him being on the phone brings in more suspicion. Now, he's assured me he's straight, that I've been the first and only girl that's pegged him, and just likes it when I'm the one pegging him and doing things up there, lol. But I'm also bi, so I more than anyone know what it is like to be into both sexes. My questions are, 1, how do I bring it up? I think it's unsanitary to be making a mess with my dildo and not cleaning properly and using something without my knowledge. 2, any guy who also likes to use a dildo, should it be a private masturbation matter? 3, has anyone had a similar experience where he became bi-curious because of butt play? We have a pretty rocky relationship because he has broken my trust many times. I cannot stop thinking about this matter.
Okay, a couple quick things I will say. One, yes, you are correct. Bringing it up is important if he's not cleaning it properly. Mm-hmm. You can get all manner of diseases mixing stuff that comes in your butt to stuff that goes into your vagina. It is bad news. You don't want to cross the streams. I act like this is a Ghostbuster situation. Crossing the streams, bad idea. Don't do it. And anytime you use a toy, it should be clean.
Yeah, we mentioned it last week. Cleanliness is just a very important part of pretty much every sexual act. But, sex toys in general, like it's one of those things, it's non-negotiable. It's just a thing you have to do, right?
Yep.
LoveHoney offers some really good wipes for doing this and a lot of stuff there. I also think it's important to, if you own the toy, if you're okay with them using it, that's fine, but your consent has to be there. Like it is your property. You know what I mean? So I think it is just kind of common courtesy to ask your partner about using their toy.
I can understand the lines being blurred if this toy had been used on him prior.
For sure.
Right? I think that if once you enter that sort of like negotiation or contract of being like, oh, this is the toy you use on me. So I understand him thinking that maybe it's not that big of a deal to use privately.
Yeah, I think it's understandable. And if that's the case that it is a big deal, then you as the partner need to let them know that either you're not okay with them using it without you for some reason, or that you need to like talk so that you're on the same page. So the parameters can be established that like you can let them, but again, presumably on the agreement that they clean up both in the bathroom and the toy itself.
Yeah, that was I think the part of the question that upset me the most was this guy just went to town on himself and was just like, all done. You know what I mean? He just like wandered away. Didn't clean up anything that he used, didn't clean up the toy, didn't clean up the mess that he made. Like
I in no world can I get my head around that.
That is the most upsetting thing for me.
I will say it's probably a good sign with regards to them being suspicious, because like if he was trying to do this, all secretive, like, you failed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's much easier to be like, hey, I know you fucking did things because you made a goddamn mess, as opposed to being like, I checked my dog camera and with the times that you were texting me. That seems a little more
Sherlock Holmes-y.
Yeah, than just being like, yeah, you made a fucking mess.
Yeah,
you also just didn't clean up the toy.
Left a big lube disaster. And the worst thing is they said lube and other stuff, but let's not get into that.
The other thing that was brought up, there was 3 points. The last one, or I think, was butt stuff leading to bi-curiosity. There's no reason to believe that this man is bi-curious unless he's having sex with another man.
Yeah, the act itself has no, like, bearing on your sexual orientation, and I think it's just a weird, like, homophobic holdover. So get that out of your mind.
It's also a complete sort of... It's something that, like, has been, locked away in men's sexuality for a very long time, where it's like, we have erogenous zones in our butt.
Yep.
The easiest way to access our prostate, the only way to access our prostate,
the safest way
is through the anus. So, but like, because anal sex is sort of the predominant way that gay men have had sex, there's been a huge taboo about straight men having anal sex or having things inserted into them, or anal sort of stimulation of any sort. But that doesn't make you gay, doesn't make you bi-curious, unless the person who is doing the things to you is also a man. Then yes, perhaps, but a straight man who likes to pleasure himself or receive pleasure from his partner, like his heterosexual partner, it does not become gay the second you insert something into his ass. That's not how it works.
I also think we need to fucking jettison that whole kind of like stigma into the sun. And I think this also might be part of the reason why he's so secretive about the act, because a lot of people feel shame about it, and it's kind of not really socially acceptable yet. Again, it should be.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people can justify it being like, well, it's not gay. A woman was doing it. But the second it's them by themselves, is this gay? It's like,
and again, like...
That's not how homosexuality works. That's not how sexuality works. Like, you don't... Like, is it gay if I jerk off? It's a man's hand, right? Like, it's a stupid thing to think.
Yeah, it's also annoying that the people who are like, oh, that's great, are still also equating being gay with being a bad thing. It's like, being gay is a great thing. Pleasuring yourself is a great thing. So it's like... that whole fucking negative, toxic stigma shit away. Men should be allowed to pleasure themselves however they want.
And I think you'd actually see a drastic decrease in violence, because one of the big things is, one, straight men tend to be the leading cause of violence towards trans people.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I imagine straight people who are sort of experiencing or exploring their sexuality with a shit ton of shame and guilt and all that kind of stuff based on societal expectations and pressure and cultural stuff. They're more likely to abuse or hurt gay partners or homosexual partners out of that shame and guilt that they feel because of all this bullshit. So if we stopped being so weird about men exploring things, in specifically pleasure through the anus, I think we would see a drastic decrease in violence against gay people and trans people. Because, there's this, we've talked so much about it of being like, men think that the second anything touches their ass, their sexuality shifts.
Well, we've literally had people bring questions to us about men who won't properly clean themselves out back because they're worried that it's gay.
Yeah.
And that's just insanity. So yeah, it's also getting put in the care package going to the sun. It's not even a care package. It's a fuck package. No, it sounds good too.
Yeah.
Damn it. It's a shit package. But either way. So I think all this to say, talk to them, because 1, you need to establish boundaries. 2, you need to establish hygiene.
Yeah.
But if you're okay with him using this toy or expressing himself in this way, which I assume you are because you're pegging him and all that stuff, maybe come to a way where he can use that toy or get a new toy, 20% off, LoveHoney, go right now.
Yeah.
So it'll be his, and take that shame away so they don't have to sneak around. And it's if you do that and they're still sneaking around, maybe they haven't come to terms with it yet. Or maybe there's something to be suspicious of then, but I think until you really broach that subject and be that accepting, helpful partner, I don't think the suspicion route is the way to go, because they're not exactly being the most stealthy here.
Yeah, you've given us no reason to believe that he's doing anything shady other than taking videos and maybe texting you while he's doing it. It's for all you know, it's maybe you, I don't know if he texted you first or maybe you texted him. Maybe he was watching porn or something and the phone was there and he was using it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It is a little weird to be texting while you're doing things, but maybe
maybe he loved it so much he was one and done, and then he just sat there in a pool of lube texting.
I mean, there's also people who wear butt plugs out in public, right? Maybe it was
a thrill to do something mundane with this hidden secret.
That's what I'm thinking. It's maybe it was just sort of him trying it out, figuring it out. He had a little bit of privacy. Maybe he was doing it in bursts or I was gonna say doses, but I don't think that's not the right word.
It was microdosing.
Yeah. 1 cc
or macro dosing. Who knows how big this dildo is? So just, I think, approach this from, you can go a positive route or you can go a negative route. And I think so many things seem to be in the realm of positivity that would be very easy for you to have an accepting talk, either share the toy or get a new toy as well. Again, LoveHoney, 20% off. But then that's a stepping stone towards acceptance and more fun, presumably. And I don't see why you would ever not take that way. So go that way and we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah. This is from Reddit user, maybe Little Jackfruit?
Little Jackfruit.
Or 3 Jackfruit? I Jackfruit? I'm not sure. Not sure how it's going to shake out. Bleeding heavy after using sex toy. Honestly, this is so embarrassing. But a couple days ago, I used a sex toy. But I didn't use lube or anything. I know, big mistake. And hurt hella bad when I put it in me. I mean, obviously, I didn't use lube. And I'm a virgin, so I think I caused damage down there. It hurts really bad. I've been bleeding and hurting since. I don't want to go to the doctor or anything, though. Me just typing this right now is embarrassing enough for me. At first, I thought my period came early, but when I went on Google and looked up everything from early periods to bleeding after using sex toys, to be honest, I'm convinced I have cuts down there because of how much it hurts and the bleeding. I'm female, by the way, if you couldn't tell already. I've been breaking down because of this for so long.
Go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor.
Shame is nothing compared to your health, right? Also, you don't have anything to be ashamed of. People do way worse shit every day, all the time. Yes, it was silly for you not to use lube, but that's kind of it. You know what I mean? Use the sex toy. Wow. People do them all the time. There is no shame there.
I promise you that any doctor, you're in your teens, I think. Did it say how old you were? It didn't. I'm assuming young. But I promise you, there's doctors who see teenagers on a daily basis of people putting absurd shit inside of them or
just trying to jump over a barbed wire fence with their bros, or like, you know, trying to jump over a car in a park. Like, people do dumb fucking shit all the time.
I watched a dude get his testicles twisted while skateboarding.
Exactly. Well, did he just have a weird skateboarding accident, or was he doing something like insane? Because if it's just an accident that happened while you're skateboarding, no shame.
Yeah.
Leave the poor guy alone.
But, I mean, a lot of people are embarrassed the second someone has to touch their testicles.
I guess. But, like, look, I get it. When I was a kid, I was like, man, if I ever have to go to an STD clinic, I'm going to be terrified. And then I grew up a bit and, like, had more partners and was like, oh, I should, because that's a responsible thing to do. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the clinic and, like, it was totally fine. Like, there was absolutely nothing wrong there.
Yeah.
So your health is paramount, right? Nothing comes before that. A little bit of shame, like, fuck it. Again, go to a gynecologist. If you don't have a gynecologist yet, you should start to get one anyway as you start to become sexually active. They're built for this, literally, and you need to make sure you're okay. That's the be all and end all.
And hey, if you're worried about being embarrassed, think of it this way. You go to a doctor, no one finds it.
Yeah.
You die because you bleed out because you used a sex toy wrong. Hey, let me tell you, everyone's going to know about that. That's going to be gossip for years.
Yeah, for sure. And on a secondary note, be responsible with your sex toy usage. Use something that's appropriately sized. Go slowly. Stop if there's pain. Use appropriate and adequate lubrication. Use high quality sex toys. Use sex toys how they're meant to be used. And again, go start slow and move on from there. And I think that should be applied in every case.
So there's also a couple, like, if you're a virgin, you could have ruptured your hymen.
Yep.
Which is a possibility. Again, I don't know how long you've been bleeding for, but if you've been bleeding for longer than a day, like if a day has passed and there is still blood,
yeah,
that's something you need to get addressed immediately.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where. If I had a cut, you know, if I cut my hand at work and I was bleeding for over 24 hours, even if it was like a little bit here and there.
Also, if it's so much blood that you're not sure if it's your period or not, that's not an insignificant amount of blood.
Yeah.
Unless you have the lightest flow.
Yeah.
Either way, go to the doctor. And for everybody who hasn't yet had this problem, sex toys are safe if you do them properly, right? They are built to be safe.
And it should be the rule of, like, no matter what, like, even if you're a dude just using your hand, if your penis starts to hurt while jerking off, give it a break for a bit.
Yeah.
The skin down there is very tender. It's not meant for the wear and tear of, say, our palms or our feet. Like, that is some tough ass skin. It's meant to resist things. Our penis, our vaginas, our vulvas, all the labia, all that stuff isn't meant to really endure physical stress. I mean, I guess the vagina a little bit more.
Well, the vagina especially is both a very tough and very delicate thing. And you gotta treat it right. But for real, throw shame. Shame's going in the package.
Yeah.
It's going up to the sun, especially for things like this. Your health is so important. It's insane that people, and I get it, but it is insane that people will put this made up judgment before real physical, peril.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to, like, put off going to the doctor for a lot of stuff. I do a lot of, like, it'll get better.
Yeah.
But the second there's anything, even the smallest hint of something wrong with my
junk, oh yeah,
my downstairs region, I am kicking in a doctor's door at his home and being like, look at it. So yes, please, like, take the time to go to the doctor, please. It's so important to get used to, especially, like, as a young person entering into their sexual years, to not wait, get things looked at. It's fine.
100%. This is by also a deleted user. Me, 21-year-old male, and my partner, 21-year-old female, recently got sex toys, and I have concerns. All right, so my girlfriend, 21, and me, 21, have been together for 5 years. I was her second partner. She has never really experienced much when it comes to intimacy. We've always had a good sex life. I've always made her climax, and her same with me. For my previous relationships, I've developed insecurities about myself. My dick is slightly above average, and I last a good amount of time, anywhere between 10 and 25 minutes. I always make sure I go down on her and make her finish before I finish. My problem is I overthink. She isn't very vocal, whereas I am, and I'm more worried about her not enjoying it, which then makes me not enjoy it. I'm constantly reassured, and I can clearly see she is, but I always have the feeling in my gut that I'm not good enough. Well, anyway, recently I moved 5 hours away and only see her every weekend or second weekend, so she decided to buy us a couple sex toy kit. She's never had a vibrator. I've tried using one on her in the past, but she doesn't like the feeling of plastic. I was down with it and excited for it, but it makes me insecure thinking about the fact that she doesn't really express it, moaning, etc., when we have sex. But with this vibrator, I know she'll enjoy it way more, which makes me upset. When she opened it over FaceTime, she was laughing how mine is shit, but hers is really strong, and she was gasping and saying, "Holy shit." I had the happiest and brightest expression on her face. From that point on, my insecurities over it started. I know she's an adult, and the vibrator is made to do things I can't. I understand that, but what scares me is if she enjoys it a lot more than me, or expressing her enjoying it a lot more, and she is an addictive girl, so it'll start to be brought over into the bedroom and then become a daily basis thing. I've tried talking to her about my insecurities and feelings, and she just gets mad at me and won't listen or understand how I feel. She's never been okay with me touching myself or using a toy on myself, but as soon as she opened hers, she says it's all good to use mine whenever, and then got really defensive over hers. I understand why she would be excited to have her first toy and everything, but how to deal with my emotions and how I'm feeling if she won't work with me? We have a perfectly good and healthy sex life, both climax together every time. It's just going to hurt me to see her and hear her enjoy it, when I barely get that when we are together intimately. She laughs and gets mad whenever I try and talk to her about these things. I hope someone can help me get over my insecurities. Thank you.
I don't think this is the sex toy issue at this point in time. I think this is a partner who doesn't want to listen to anything.
I think there's definitely more, but that's a huge issue.
If every time you try to have these conversations with her, she gets mad or laughs, then it doesn't, the sex toy sort of this is just the current problem. And because what happens if it's any other issue or if you bring up any other insecurity or any other issue, is she going to get mad and not listen to you about that as well? Because the underlying problem here is her not wanting to address concerns regardless of what those concerns are.
Yes, and I think that is a key issue, if not the whole issue. Everything else could be spiraling from there. I appreciate that you tried to mention your insecurities and talk about them, because we say to do that all the time, and not a lot of people do. And it's possible, had you got a supportive partner, it would have ended there, right? So I think that is one thing you need to discuss, is that you need a partner who's supportive, who listens to you, who gives a shit about what you say, especially when it's something you're upset about. And that's paramount. But secondly, I think there are some things to unpack here. One, you seem to have a lot of anxiety over a lot of things to do with sex. Even though you keep saying you have a healthy sex life and you guys climax together, you don't sound happy. So I don't know if you can say you have a healthy sex life.
Yeah, healthy sex life doesn't just mean you guys both come.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a key point to a good sex life. But a healthy sex life, I would argue that you have a really bad sex life because you tried to bring up something that was important to you and your partner didn't listen to you.
Yeah.
That's a bad sex life.
And you're miserable.
I didn't get the sense that he's miserable. I understand
it's a long ass post about just how insecure he is about everything.
Well, it seemed like his thing is he doesn't get enough vocal feedback.
Yes.
Right? That seems to be the root of the cause of being when they're having sex, he would prefer more vocal feedback, because if that was happening, I don't think you'd have the insecurities of the toy, because that seems to be where the root comes from, is oh, she's louder when she uses a toy, therefore she doesn't enjoy it as much as when she's with me.
Yeah. Now I will say she uses the toy over FaceTime. So it could be she's putting on a performance for you because you're not together and she's trying to be sexy. And I think that's a hugely possibility, because if she just kind of held it to her and just deadpanned into the camera, you're not gonna have fun with that. It's possible that because she's putting on this performance when she's not naturally doing that she isn't even enjoying herself that much. You know what I mean? Because that might take her out of it. Or just feels great, which again, fucking hell yeah. That's how you get a healthy sex life, is if it makes your partner feel great and it's not hurting either one of you, why not? You know what I mean? That should be a boon. Should be a blessing.
The problem here is that the solution to his problem is to talk to her, be open and vulnerable, and blah, blah, blah. He's done all the things that you and I would both tell him to do. Mm-hmm. And when it comes down to it, I maybe take it one final step and be hey, when we have sex, I would like a little more vocal reassurance or vocal interaction. I would like to hear you enjoying more. And then give her examples of whether you want to hear more moaning, whether you want to hear her saying more things I love the way you fuck me, blah, blah, blah. Give her examples of what you're looking for. And if once again she's haha, or gets mad, and there's valid reasons as to why she's not doing it. Maybe she feels uncomfortable doing it. Maybe it feels fake and performative.
And that's the thing. It's just because you want her to be more vocal doesn't mean she has to be. You know what I mean? Because again, it's if she just changes everything about the way she fucks to suit you. Maybe she won't be happy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if she understands your concerns and cares, I'm sure there are things she can do to let you know she's enjoying it, even if it's just in the moment to reassure you, like beforehand or while you're having this conversation. And I'll bet you'd feel better if she was like, look, I'm sorry, I just don't really feel like being all that noisy, but like, believe me, I fucking love it. You know what I mean? And that itself would go a long way. But I think, as you were about to say, if again she kind of tosses your concerns aside or is mad, again, it's not a sex toy issue. It's a her issue.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should be with a partner that's so cavalier and uncaring about where you're coming from, especially when you're doing the hard thing and being vulnerable and being honest.
Yeah.
Which again is the best and, you know, most recommended from us thing to do.
Yeah. 100%. Like it's that's where it comes down to. Whereas, cause like, okay, great. She agrees to not use the sex toy anymore because it makes you feel or insecure. Great. Cool. And then what happens when the next problem comes up and she laughs at it or gets mad at you for bringing it up? Like it's a lot of work to get sort of like the baseline of respect in a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it, in my opinion.
So yeah, have a talk and like, don't project, because I guess they're kind of projecting the problems onto the vibrator.
Yeah.
It's great that you can recognize your insecurities and move to get over them, but unfortunately, you're not being allowed to get over this because you don't have a partner willing to cooperate. So try to get in a healthier space, and if not, find someone who will.
The next question comes from Agent Lawn Chair.
Thanks for sending it in.
They ask, I've been using a vibrator a bunch during the pandemic, and I have now sort of gotten over it. Is there something I can do to change up my vibrator usage to make it as exciting as it was before I drove it into the ground during all of the lockdowns?
I think I have something that might help.
Oh, you've come to the right place, Lawn Chair.
Yeah. Well, let me direct you over to lovehoney.co/fbuddies, because have you heard of the Womanizer Premium 2?
I was going to say there's a good chance you haven't, but there's actually a very good chance that you have, because it is one of the most like recommended sex toys from word of mouth and friends, because of it's a whole different sex toy game, and it is the industry leader in suction technology.
Air suction toys like changed sex toys forever. Like, it was kind of a new development, and this is the flagship of that technology, and also the world's worst kept secret. If you know, you know. And it looks, hey, if I had a clit, I'd do it.
And that's the whole point of this toy is it is a clitoral stimulation vibrator suction toy. It's very handy. One, especially if you live with people or roommates or something, because this bad boy doesn't start until it makes contact with your skin and then stops the second you do. So if you drop it in the throes of passion and really enjoying this bad boy, it's not going to hit the ground and wake everyone up with that like it literally only works when it's on you.
It also has smart silence technology, so it's going to be quiet even when it's running.
Yeah.
On top of that, it is waterproof, so you can just meld it into your bath time or shower routine.
Exactly. And with the quietness, no one's going to know.
Okay, but now to the point of the question, which is spicing things up, making everything really exciting. There's this really cool like feature. It's called like a different lover every night, because you have a variety of settings, sensations, and intensities that you could just like match it to whatever fantasy or whatever you're watching or whatever you're into at that point. On top of that, there's an autopilot function, so you could just like set it and forget it, you know?
I mean, that's the thing, is like with a vibrator, there's usually different settings. You know what I mean? Like you usually have different intensities or whatever. But with the autopilot on the Womanizer Premium 2, you actually get to like be surprised, because it just kind of does its own thing. It like rotates through the different things. So you have absolutely no idea what you're going to get next. So if you are kind of tired of your vibrator experience, this is the solution, in my opinion.
100%.
Like if you need something that's going to break out the monotony of what you've been doing for the past 2 years as we all got locked down and had to just masturbate forever, the Womanizer Premium 2, I think, is the solution. It's the beacon of light at the end of the tunnel here, waiting for you, waiting to suck gently or not so gently.
Yeah. What I love is, like, last week we talked about the Nova 2 and how adding it to the app gives you kind of like that, like, connectivity and like surprise of a partner, like taking the reins. This is kind of like that if you don't have a partner or don't want to use it with a partner, because again, it has that autopilot. It'll kind of do its own thing. So you can be surprised and you can kind of make it fresh. And I think that's cool.
Absolutely. It's something that if I'm honestly kind of bummed I don't have a clit.
I'm regularly.
And hey, let me tell you, clitoral suction is one of my secret techniques during oral sex. So the fact that there's now a toy that can simulate that, I feel like might be putting me out of business. But speaking of business, head on over to lovehoney.co/fbuddies. That is lovehoney.co/FBUDDIES, and check out everything they've got. Check out the WeVibe Nova 2. Check out the Womanizer Premium 2. A lot of twos, a lot of sequels.
Mm-hmm.
And use our code at checkout, BuckBuddies. It is a limited time code, so this won't last forever. So make sure.
Get on it. If you're like thinking, now is the time.
That's the thing. A lot of people think about things and like, it's a great idea, and then they don't do it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, the code doesn't work anymore. So I was going to say do it right now, but you might not be in the right place to hit up a sex toy site.
You don't want to look back and be like, oh man, I missed out.
Yeah, because 20% is
a chunk of change.
That's that's 1/5 of the price of this bad boy.
Whoa.
That's crazy. Use our limited time promo code FUCKBuddies20. That's FUCKBUDDIES 20.
All capitals.
All capitals at checkout. And get yourself a sweet deal.
Yeah.
And something fun for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to tell us how it goes, tell us. If you don't, it can be your little sexy secret.
Your little sexy secret.
Yeah, again, discreet shipping. We talked about that last week. So you're in good hands. Incredible customer service. World-renowned sex toy shop. Like, you couldn't be at a better place right now.
Yeah, it's like going to
a Michelin star restaurant.
Or like that place in Harry Potter with the wands.
Oh, Ollivanders, yeah.
Right? Like you're going there, and then that dude is also like, actually, you're not going to pay full price.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
he's like, I've gotten you a dragon horn, phoenix feather, perfect. It fits in your hand amazingly. Yeah. You get that tingle when you grab it. But then he's like, hey, don't worry.
Hey, 20%? I'm not going to offer you. No problem.
This is Zuxer, CZUCZER. Zuxer. Hi all. Oh, sorry. They say, the question is, first sex toy for a vanilla couple? ? Hi all. Not sure if the best place, but smiley face. My wife's 35th birthday is coming, and besides a regular present, I'm thinking about adding a sex toy. Smile. We are together for 12 years and married for 5 years. We have an almost 4-year-old son. Our sex is good, but rather vanilla. Since our son came into the picture, the driver specialty on her side dropped.
Is that a wild autocorrect?
Yeah, okay. I don't want to push too hard. Yeah, so I assume it's like her sex drive dropped. Yeah. I don't want to push too hard, but just thought it might be a good idea to give it a try. I'm not sure what I can get, rather for her pleasure than mine.
I mean, great. I don't think this is the thing that you buy solo.
Yes.
I think this is something that, look, if you really want this to be a surprise, I don't think there's any harm. A small little pocket vibrator that you can bust out during sex and use on her while you're having sex, or give it to her and tell her to use on herself during sex. I think that's a pretty safe bet for a vanilla couple, as you described by yourself. But I think it'd be a lot more fun to be like, hey, here's the cool gifts I got you, but there's one other thing that I would like to get you. And we're going to head on over to lovehoney.co.
Mm-hmm. My friends Dan and Niall have a great deal for us.
Great deal. And this is the other thing. You don't really have to worry about the price. Yeah. Because you're already getting a discount on it.
And let's be fair, they're pretty reasonable as well. I did look and I was kind of surprised that like the top end stuff is still,
This is the thing. When I looked at the Nova 2, I was considering like the app and everything.
I thought it would be twice as much.
I thought it was going to be way more expensive. Yeah. So already, you're not going to be breaking the bank, but again, we have a code, FuckBuddies20 limited time. But yeah, sit down with your partner and be like, which one of these entices you? Mm-hmm. Because maybe they might just be like, oh, I really don't like toys. Toys make me uncomfortable. And then you can save yourself the trouble. Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they'll be like, just let's get some lube and lingerie.
Yeah.
Or maybe they really want a dildo instead of a vibrator, or vice versa. Maybe they want something that while you're minding the kid, you can have a sneaky little app and she's Nova 2ing upstairs.
Yep. There's a lot of options out there. And I think letting her be the master of her own destiny.
Yeah. And that's fun. That's like a sexy little because you're both going to be like titillated by the possibilities as you look at them all. And maybe that's the thing you need to kind of reignite a little bit of the spark. And on top of that, you're not going wrong because their choosing.
Yeah, they handpicked it. And not to, like, you know, press down on gender roles or anything, but I think there is something sexy about someone being like, pick something, I'm going to get it for you. Right? I think there's something sexy and, like, empowering and sort of, you know, if their love language is getting gifts, receiving gifts, I mean, that's to be like, frolic in this playground, pick anything you want, I'm going to buy it for you.
Yeah.
That's for me, that would do it for me.
Yeah.
And I think it would do it for a lot of people.
For sure. I think it's...
Damn, okay.
And again, like, Dane said something really great earlier, like, a basic sex toy you can't really go wrong with. But sex toys, once you kind of depart from that, I think the more input you have as the person going to use it, the better. Because, like, you can customize so many different ways. Like, you can get mad stuff on there. It's great.
Yeah.
So having that, like, freedom and that, like, scope... And, like, I've already talked to people who are so excited when they pop up the website and they're like, damn, that's a lot. So I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
And then you've got, again, you're kind of like two-parting the present. Because part of the present is the excitement and, like, you guys looking together. The other part, and maybe three-parting, because then you got the, like, excitement as you wait for your discreet little box that your 4-year-old son won't know what's in it.
Not a clue.
And then you get the fun of it arriving.
It'd be wild if you did, though.
Well, it would be. It would be. That's how you find out he has X-ray vision.
Yeah.
You've got a superhuman child.
A little super baby.
Yeah. So I think that's the way to do it.
Speaking of babies.
Can we talk about the baby?
I think we can talk about the baby.
Yeah, so you guys remember Potato Baby? Well, you done did it.
Well, you gone and done it.
So you might, I don't know if you noticed, me and Dane have been in the closet together for the first time in like 2 years.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be noticeable. If
you know what? If you know, tell us. Like, is the energy different? Can you feel us matching eyes?
Can you hear the sweat?
Yeah,
dropping.
We're warm. We're in the same room for the first time in what? It must be over 2 years.
I mean, like
2.5 years.
2020 around March is probably when we stopped doing it.
Damn.
For safety.
So we're back in, and the only reason we're back together is Potato Baby.
Potato Baby.
Because we made a promise. We said that if you guys joined the Patreon, we would
make a Potato Baby.
Make Potato Baby. And someone came in clutch almost immediately. And we've crafted this starchy horror.
Beautiful baby. This beautiful son of mine that I love dearly.
And we're gonna throw those pictures and maybe even some videos up on the Patreon for all you guys to enjoy.
That's right. So if you want to see our
starchy horror
Potato Baby, our sweet boy,
our son Jacob,
our sweet son Jacob, I think we should call him Spud, but we'll talk about that later.
Well, his name, like, Spud might be on his birth cert, but his real name is Jacob.
Right. His name is Spud. But
no, it's Jacob.
We use the nickname Jacob. Yes. So if you would like to see him, please head on over to our Patreon. You can get there with fbuddiespodcast.com. Click the Patreon link or patreon.com/fbuddies.
We will have it open to any tier.
Any tier, yeah.
You deserve it.
Any tier, it does not matter. If you join the Patreon, you will get to see Potato Baby.
And let me say, we went all out.
I will tell you right now, Potato Baby is clothed.
Yeah, I got real baby clothes. It has a functioning spine.
It does have a pretty accurate bone structure.
Yeah.
Pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Got a face.
It's got a face.
It does have a face.
Has a cute little hat.
Cute little hat.
It has a weirdly good potato hand. One. And an angry potato fist.
Yeah. There's a lot going on there, and it's not something that you want to miss.
It's maybe the most powerful potato construct ever made. I don't know. Like, I had ideas, and it surpassed each and every one of those ideas. I knew it was going to the second Dane constructed a potato spine, and to my horror, fastened it to some potato hips.
Yeah, Niall came at me with some real loosey-goosey energy.
In a good way or a bad way? Throw me under the bus right now?
No. I'm just saying, you just wanted to fill a onesie full of potatoes.
Yep, that was the base. That was going to be the base.
My son was not going to be just
our son.
Our son was not just going to be a onesie full of potatoes.
That was the base. Okay, so yeah, go over and check it out.
This is Unalive Me, Captain. Today I fucked up by using a sex toy in my hand. This isn't really a question, but it's something I want to talk about. We touched on it briefly earlier. This happened this morning. My boyfriend and I were enjoying a little early morning intimacy and decided to incorporate a new toy. One of those high-powered magic wands. You know the ones. I wanted to see if it felt good on his boys. but I didn't want to hurt him.
No.
So I cupped his little buddies in with my hand and held the massager on the back of my hand so he felt the residual vibrations. He said it felt amazing, and a bit later we were both very happy campers. However, I noticed my hand is now swollen as shit and super itchy where I held the massager to it. And my middle finger is super red and puffy. It's 40 minutes later and my poor hand is still a reminder of my epic fail.
Damn. Who would have known?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? I was
But-
like, that was smart. Like they took kind of what we said earlier about being safe, and we're like, yeah, if I just raw dog this guy's beans, it's gonna be terrible.
Yeah,
You know, I knew. Hey, it would be.
it would have been a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
But it brings me to my point, and something we kind of touched on with the bleeding earlier. Look, again, I'm not here to reinforce gender stereotypes, but as a man, I don't read a whole lot of instructions. I kind of just wing it. I just kind of figure it out on my own. But there are two things that I think you should follow the instructions and read the directions for, and that's medicine
Mhm.
and sex toys.
I think like any kind of cleaning supply that could be poisonous as well. You know.
It's a big shrug for me.
Okay. All right. That's fine. But yeah, medicine.
If
and
I
sex toys for
accidentally
sure.
make mustard gas in my bathroom,
I don't want to lose you. I don't want to raise our son alone.
I know I need to be safer
You need
now.
to be
that-
more. Yeah. Now that you're a dad, you need to
Yeah.
get a lot more responsible.
So the point I wanted to bring this question in was, don't use sex toys for things that they're not meant for.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things aren't meant for male genitalia, like, or at least high power things shouldn't be used on something as sensitive and easily bruised and damaged as testicles.
Yeah, if it did that to the back of your hand, which like you can backhand someone, like that's a function of your hand, for example, right? It's not a function of your balls.
Yeah.
If this wrecked an implement that can casually and disrespectfully wallop someone across the face,
and it's quite powerful.
it's quite powerful.
a
Yeah.
very strong
Yeah.
part of our body.
I climb. I wet the back of my hand off things all the time, and like,
It lifts heavy shit,
yeah.
you know?
Whereas
It's-
balls, they do none of those things.
balls are literally just there, like, cowering for their life.
Oh yeah,
90%
they're,
of
the
the time.
only reason they're outside of the body is because they can't even be inside because it's too hot. Like that's the thing. That's how delicate they are. Where they want to be, they can't be.
Yeah.
You know, we're like the Death Star. Our vent is right there.
It's right there.
And,
Everyone
like,
knows it's there.
If
too.
you have the plans, so don't destroy it with a vibrator. There
but
are specific ball stuff on the website. Use
you
them.
can get cock rings that have
Yeah.
vibrators.
You can get built-in prostate dildo things with dual cock rings. I saw
Yeah.
that on the website. It was crazy.
It's crazy. So the whole thing I wanted to be is like sex toys can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But when used,
Arguably, their entire purpose is to be a lot of fun.
well, there are some sex toys that,
But
they are still
that's
being, yes,
fun,
that is
right?
fun for who they are.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I was gonna say there are some sex toys I've seen that don't look like a whole lot of fun, but for
That's for
someone,
you. Yeah, that's the thing. Not
having a
every
great
sex
time.
toy for every person,
Yeah.
but for every sex toy a purpose, and for every purpose, do only that.
yeah. So make sure what you're doing with the sex toy is what it's meant to be doing, or
Mhm.
or is meant to be done with.
Yeah,
Because we're tender people.
Mhm.
Even our strong hands can get real fucked up with a big powerful vibrator boy. So be careful with them. Have fun, but I encourage creativity in the bedroom, but not with machines. Maybe.
Even then, it's just like best practices. You know what I mean? Be as careful as possible, please,
Yeah.
and go out there and have the most amount of fun. And thank you, LoveHoney, because this is great.
Yeah.
You guys are
Cautionary
wonderful.
tale also. Apparently vibrators
Well,
or
just
the big ones
destroy the back of your hand.
will just fuck your hand right up, so don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Always read the instructions. I'm sure there's something in the instructions that is like,
Yeah, only use it,
yeah,
you know,
On
here
this.
and start low before moving up.
yeah.
Probably.
I almost guarantee you there's something that's like, don't use straight on bones. 'Cause that's probably not a great thing.
either type.
Yeah. That's going to do us for this week, friends. Thank you very much for listening. It means the world to us. As we always say, life is crazy. And the fact that you take an hour out of your time every week to listen to us and hang out with us means the world to us. If you have a question for us, head on over to fbuddiespodcast.com, click the contact form, fill it out, give yourself an agent name. We'll keep you completely anonymous and we'll answer it as soon as we can. If you want to see our sweet, sweet potato child, head on over to fbuddiespodcast.com, click the Patreon link or patreon.com/fbuddies. And
Pledge to any tier, and you will see our sweet, sweet child in all of his glory.
So one more time, we just wanted to thank LoveHoney for sponsoring us this episode. You guys have been fun partners. We've loved working with you, and you guys provide an excellent service to us and our listeners. So once again, head on over to lovehoney.co/fbuddies. Use our limited time code FUCKBuddies20 and get yourself something fun.
Now, it is limited, and that's all capitals. FUCKBuddies20.
FUCKBuddies20. Caps log on. Let's go.
Go do it. Thank you, Josh Eagles and the Harvest Seas for their paper.
Wow, a lot of S's in there.
Thank you, Josh Eagle and the Harvest Seas for their song Paper Stars. About 6 already? Now, this will have slight spoilers for Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, shit.
Is that okay?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's okay for me, but for anyone who's really horny to see Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, if you don't want any spoilers, I don't think it's anything major. Just a heads up. Because this comes from Christians Against Buzz Lightyear. Rant time. What does sexuality have to be in children's movies? Aiden and I watched Lightyear tonight. The beginning, first 5 minutes of the movie, was mainly about Buzz and his partner Hawthorne, female. Buzz is in space 4 years, and when he returns, Hawthorne is wearing a ring. He asks Hawthorne about her girlfriend. He leaves again and comes back, and now Hawthorne is pregnant. Next few scenes are of Hawthorne, her wife, a baby, then a picture of the couple and their son's graduation. Next, a 40th anniversary party for Hawthorne and her wife. Hawthorne's granddaughter was a main character, but I don't understand the need to include sexuality of any kind in a movie marketed to children. I know right now there's a big push to expose children to homosexuality, drag queens, transgenderism, identity confusion, and a gigantic list of other things. What happened to kids getting to be innocent? Why isn't that acceptable? And then some places mandated that children be immersed into the LGBTQ ... society. My girls will not see the movie. Luckily, Aiden is young and distracted and didn't understand what was going on. It's time to stop being quiet while the world tries to corrupt our children. Peter, 5'8". Be sober-minded. Be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour.
The 2 people, or was that? Oh, he was. Oh,
no, he was quoting the good book.
I mean, this is the thing that always makes me laugh when people are like, kids are too young to understand sexuality. Now go and play house. You're the mother, you're the father, these are your children. It's like, hey, my dude, I hate to break it to you, but heterosexuality is sexuality.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed that it's a compound word. Heterosexuality. Homosexuality.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I think that is actually beyond them. But on top of that, it's like, I'm reading this question being like, damn, what happened in Buzz Lightyear? And it's like, she got married and had a kid? If it was a straight couple, this dude wouldn't have given a fuck.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like,
so don't pretend it's sexuality you're upset about. You're just a homophobe.
Yeah, you just don't like that it was too... Because, like, yes, as you said, like, I'm sure this person didn't lose their fucking mind at the beginning of Up.
Well, we all did, but in a different way.
I mean, yes, we were... What a goddamn train wreck that is. But, like, yeah, I'm sure he wasn't like, what?
They had a child?
A white man and a woman are trying to have a kid and they got married and they fell in love. Like, no, you're fine with that, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure that was a sweet, touching moment that you loved.
So don't try to pretend this is about anything other than you being a fucking ignorant piece of shit.
Yeah.
And don't be like this. But also, I will say, there's tens of thousands of comments. It's just people lacerating this. I would say poor man, but he deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's been our second Sex Toy Palooza.
To infinity and beyond. My name is Dane Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain.
We've been your fuck buddies.